She took the shortcut through the old orchard because the road home had been braided with fog, and she wanted the quick comfort of familiar trees. The trees had stood in that field longer than the town remembered, gnarled trunks, hollowed knots, and a wire fence sagging like tired ribs. A hand-lettered sign at the gate read, "Please close the gate." The orchard smelled of damp leaves and a sweetness like rot made pretty. Lanterns, hung low from crooked branches, glowed a muted amber, swinging with no wind. Fruit hung fat and too perfect, skin like polished bone. No vendor had ever maintained these trees. The fruit grew anyway, heavy and waiting. She walked between rows, shoes sinking slightly into soft earth. The lanterns made the branches long and friendly at first, then strange. Shadows nested inside shadows, and the path seemed to fold in on itself. Children's laughter threaded through the trees, half a memory, half a recording. She told herself she must be hearing things. A woman sat on a low stump, peeling an apple with slow, careful hands. Her nails were clean, her smile was too patient. When the woman looked up, it was as if she were reading the certainty in a book. "You shouldn't be here after dusk," the woman said. Her voice was a thin cloth pulled tight across a bowl. "I live nearby," she answered, "just cutting through." The woman nodded, as if satisfied. "They like names," she said, as if reporting the weather. "They keep what's called." She should have left then. Instead, curiosity edged her forward. The fruit smelled like everything she remembered of summer: jam, cut grass, a mother's hush. One apple was bruised at the stem. She plucked it and felt the tree relax, a groan beneath the soil. The woman watched her with eyes that did not blink. "If you take, you must leave something," she said. "They count by exchange." She laughed, an unsteady sound, and reached into her pocket, only to find her keys gone, and in their place a folded scrap of paper, a list of small private things. A photograph tucked behind a frame, a promise said and not kept, a name she had said aloud once and wished she hadn't. A breeze stirred where no air moved. The lanterns chimed together, a soft clatter of glass, and the fruit pulsed like a heartbeat. The tree trunks leaned, not enough for a person to notice, but enough for the orchard to feel like an audience shifting in seats. From deeper in the rows, figures moved. Neighbors, maybe, or people who looked like neighbors in the reversing glow. They stepped through branches without rustle, mouths forming words she could not hear. Their hands reached for the fruit and passed things back along invisible lines. A sock, a button, a strand of hair, a folded receipt. Each item vanished into the air with a tiny pop, like a match struck and put away. She felt something tug at her wrist. A small hand, cool and urgent, held her there. A child stood between the trunks, hair damp as if born of dew, eyes too old for a child. He held out his own palm. On it lay a single silver coin stamped with no date. "Trade," he said. "They like to count small debts." She opened her mouth to refuse, to run, but the orchard sharpened its attention. A soft counting started at the roots, a clicking like pebbles tapped in a bowl. The lanterns dimmed one by one, and the shadows lengthened into teeth. She thought of the photograph in her drawer, the promise in her pocket, the whispered name she had tried to bury. The things seemed heavy and real as rocks. Her thumb brushed the paper in her pocket. The list had a line with her own name scrawled neat and patient. Around her, the people with familiar faces raised their heads and smiled. They reached toward the fruit with gentle hands and tucked into their pockets small things they had prepared: a watch, a scrap of hair, a ticket stub. The exchange was quiet. No bargaining, only the soft rustle of items being surrendered. Her throat serrated with a cold clarity. If she left without offering, she thought, the orchard might take without consent. She imagined waking to find that photograph missing, a hole where memory had been. But if she gave what the list demanded, what certainty would she lose? Her fingers closed around the scrap. She tore from it the smallest thing, a child's scribble folded in a book, a promise she had meant to keep, the single silly nickname she'd used once at 3 a.m. She handed it to the child. He cradled it like a thing alive and placed the silver coin there, which snapped and vanished into the grass. The lanterns brightened as if rewarded. The fruit shivered and settled back into its skin. The woman on the stump nodded once, slow as a clock winding down. "They're satisfied," she said, "for now." Relief was a thin, warm line. She stepped toward the gate. Behind her, the orchard hummed, satisfied and watchful. As she passed, a branch brushed her shoulder, not cruelly, not kindly, and she felt like a draft slipping under a door, something taken. A small confidence in the future, a certainty that had been folded into a private place and tucked away. At the gate, she found her keys still missing, but someone had left a coin in their place, plain and dull, stamped with an image she did not recognize. On the other side of the field, the town slept, indifferent. She walked home with the coin in her pocket and a small ache in her chest. The next morning, the photograph in her drawer was a hair thinner at the edge. The name she had once spoken hung in the air like a scent she could not quite place. Sometimes, when evenings fall in slow and the trees throw long fingers across her path, she thinks of the orchard counting and wonders what price will be due next time the lanterns bob. And sometimes, very late, she finds a scrap of paper in her pocket. Neat handwriting, another small list, reminding her that the orchard keeps a ledger. The entries are patient, and it never forgets to balance accounts.